Lambton-Kent-Middlesex.
Thank you very much, Speaker. My question today is for the Premier. Premier, in a recent Toronto Star interview, you were unable to answer a simple question about the current unemployment rate in Ontario. When you were asked, you guessed, and I quote, about 7%, and then you added a hesitant, "Did I pass?" Earlier this month, you said that the death of Ontario's manufacturing sector was a myth. Clearly, solving the jobs crisis in Ontario is not a priority for you or your Liberal government. Premier, let me help. Ontario currently has nearly 600,000 unemployed men and women and an unemployment rate of 7.7%. Even worse, Ontario's unemployment rate has been above the national average for 75 straight months. Premier, can you explain how this House can have confidence in your leadership when you don't even know how many men and women are seeking work in Ontario today?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And you know what? I completely understand the question from the member opposite, and he would want to take me to task. The reality is, Mr. Speaker, there's a range of unemployment rates across the province. First of all, you're right, 7.7% average across the province, unacceptable, which is why we are putting measures in place in our budget to address that, Mr. Speaker. Job creation is extremely important, particularly youth unemployment is unacceptable, Mr. Speaker, which is at a rate of 16.5%. But, Mr. Speaker, the other reality, from March 2012 until now, the unemployment rate in Ottawa, for example, is 6.3%, which is down 0.4%, Mr. Speaker. The unemployment rate in Toronto, Mr. Speaker, is 8.3%, which is down from March 2012, Mr. Speaker. There are other parts of the province where the unemployment rate has gone up. So 7.7%, Mr. Speaker, is unacceptable, which is why we will be addressing those concerns when we bring the budget forward on Thursday.
Well, Premier, the numbers don't lie. Your government has utterly failed Ontario workers. You've let them down and you've lost the confidence of the men and women in our communities right across this province. Ontario has now lost over 300,000 manufacturing jobs. Premier, in my riding, Tender Tootsies, who employed over 1,000 people at its peak, just announced it will be closing. Premier, for these constituents, being unemployed is no myth. Premier, the Auditor General's scathing report detailed the costs associated with cancelling the Mississauga power plant and showed that the Liberals' political ploy will cost Ontario taxpayers over $275 million. Premier, do you think it's right for the 600,000 men and women who are currently out of work to be forced to pay for your political treachery?
Mr. Speaker, what I want to say to the 600,000 people who are out of work, if that is the number that the member is putting forward, Mr. Speaker, I want to say to them that it is unacceptable that they don't have access to work, Mr. Speaker. It is unacceptable that the party opposite, Mr. Speaker, would not work with us, Mr. Speaker, to address that issue. The fact is that our budget will bring forward measures, Mr. Speaker, that will continue to build on the fundamentals and the conditions that are necessary to bring business to the province, Mr. Speaker. We have put programs in place, for example, the Second Career Program, Mr. Speaker, that was designed specifically to deal with the transition of people coming out of the manufacturing sector and to help them get into a new career, Mr. Speaker, and it has been wildly successful. Thousands of members of this society have had the opportunity to retrain because of that program. That's the kind of solution that people without a job are looking for, Mr. Speaker. That's what we're going to be putting forward.